So I've been putting in quite a bit of time into Elden Ring, and one undeniable truth has been brought to my attention. You are supposed to fail. This may really be a surprise to some of you, but let me explain what I mean. I played a bit of Elden Ring when it was released, and I was okay. I remember I died a lot, and I didn't really enjoy all the failures, so honestly, I quit playing it. The learning curve to me was too aggressive, and I didn't think it was really worth putting that much time into the game just to fight the same damn boss over and over and over again, bashing my head up against the proverbial wall. Now, to be fair, I don't think that there is anything wrong with that level of progression, but for me, who has been solely focused on my gaming content and producing valuable videos, I didn't see it as an asset to my time. I didn't also have a ton of time to sit down and play video games, so I didn't believe that I could turn it around quickly enough for reasonable content on my channel. So I stuck to what I knew and what I thought was easy. MMORPGs do of course offer their more difficult content, but certainly provide much more simplistic follow this quest and receive a reward. Hence why after playing years of MMOs, I didn't like having my teeth kicked in from Elden Ring. I liked the challenge, to be sure, but I did not have the patience nor the discipline to work towards something like that of a Souls game. Now, fast forward to today, where I decided I shouldn't give up on games so quickly and enter in Elden Ring again. I said, what I need to do is to sit down and give this game about 20 hours to see what it's truly like, and guess what? I died. A lot. But I learned an important lesson, that failure is an integral part of the game. Dying and failing is required for you to succeed in Elden Ring. It wouldn't be one of the best games in recent memory if it didn't have a certain difficulty to it. And guess what? What was surprising is that I actually enjoyed failing. As each time that I died, I learned a little bit more about the mobs, the bosses, or what have you. It gave me a sense of progression that I was working towards an ultimate victory, not unlike what you would see from MMORPG ratings such as World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, where we would wipe against a single boss for hours, gently progressing, eventually getting to the point where you get that boss down. And during my initial time in Elden Ring, I failed to see that it was quite literally the same thing. Wiping 2 hours to a raid boss in an MMO is exactly like dying to the same boss for hours in Elden Ring. Why didn't I see this before? I think Elden Ring puts it a lot more centric to the player versus to the raid group. In MMOs, you can have partial blame for a wipe, whether it's a missed mechanic or the healers falling behind, the tank died for some reason. It may not always be your fault. However, in Elden Ring, it simply says, nope, you failed. You were not good enough to take down this boss. You need to get better. That was something hard for me to swallow, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that regard. When I died to a boss, whether it was moving the wrong direction or mistiming a dodge or taking too long to get a kill, it can be boiled down to what I was doing or what I wasn't doing. I didn't realize that raiding in MMOs, I could cause the wipe, but sometimes it really just wasn't me. There are other players who commit mistakes, and it felt less personal to me. So I'm actually glad for the time that I put in Elden Ring and actually quote-unquote got good. I wouldn't say I'm amazing, I've gotten better. And again, maybe not super pro, but standing on my own 2 feet. But why is this important to you? Well, depending on where you are at your first playthrough or whether you've even picked up the game. Perhaps you've even played the game all the way through. There is still relevance in what this game is trying to teach you, and I think that's pretty important. Elden Ring's whole game is meant to be you failing. You were supposed to die over and over again until you figure out the boss's puzzle. But you know that every boss is possible because, of course, there's someone on YouTube who has done no-hit runs, and you could see that every single boss has been defeated with like a level 1 weapon and just someone who's never been touched. While you may also be frustrated and angry at this, I, of course, was. I was so damn angry at Margit the Fell Omen because I died to him for about 4 hours, only for me to go out and level twice and come back and absolutely obliterate him like it wasn't even close. When I did eventually kill him, I jumped up, I flipped off the computer, I was shouting and hollering. I mean, the point is as you grow and do better with each attempt, you see the progression building to a huge payoff. Literally having a shouting and screaming moment of euphoria. The rush really does kind of get addicting. And that doesn't simply end with the main bosses of the story. This also applies to just about every random boss you'd find anywhere in this game. Literally, the bosses are littered all over the place and offer such a various amount of challenges, everything from incredibly difficult to basically one-shot material. It's actually crazy how many bosses are available, and they're all optional, and they all offer some type of unique complexity to their fights. Take, for example, the Crucible Knight that I recently found. It took me about 8 tries to get him down, despite me being much higher level than him and basically being overpowered for this area. Seriously, he can take his tail swing and get the heck out of here because that's some BS. It covers the whole arena. But regardless, he provided me a serious challenge. Even now, even after I've already beaten Margit and Godric. The best part is that this could have been done before you even took on those two. Like legit, the bosses you put down here, even this early in the game, are absolutely face wreckers, and that's pretty important. Overall, I really think Elden Ring is a wake-up call. Shadow of the Erdtree came out, and apparently it's brutally difficult. Like, so many people have talked about the difficulty in this damn game, especially the DLC. And some players have seen that it's almost nearly impossible. I feel bad for Afro right now because he's struggling against Radahn. Actually, I think he's taking a break from Elden Ring because he hates Radahn so much right now. To me, that's actually really exciting. As I mentioned earlier, too many games give the easy way out, whereas it seems with most bosses and creatures in Elden Ring, they don't pull any punches. You will fail and you will need to work for each victory. And I think that's something that modern day games may have missed. Having the challenge, having the crazy high difficulty almost set as the normal standard across the board. For sure, MMOs offer incredible difficulty that scales up. Talk about Final Fantasy XIV's Extremes, which I've been going through, and then you have Savages, and then Ultimates. It's just, you can literally make everything in this game 10 times more challenging. But the simple story mode, which you are put against the normal mode of the game, has trials and bosses that are fairly straightforward and easy. After playing about 50 hours of Elden Ring, I am absolutely certain that I've improved so much. I handle most bosses with a lot better ease, and of course, mine are a learning curve, let's be serious. I don't immediately get a one-shot on every boss, but it has taught me that failing is a really good thing, and it has me really analyzing what mistakes that I am making. And the more that I analyze, the more I think about it, the better the payoff when I actually get that boss down. Now, I can sit here and say 1,000 things about Elden Ring and why the game is great, but I will simply put that for it being my very first Souls-like, I had to fail. I had to die. I had to get good, as it were. But after I did, it was incredible. I've improved so much of the game in such a short amount of time that I am grateful that I have been giving the game an honest try, and definitely the honest try that it deserves. And I'm certain once I get into more notable bosses, I will run into my own problems, but I have learned how to handle the biggest inescapable truth about Elden Ring. You must die, so that you may succeed. Currently, I'm continuing north, past Stormvale Castle, basically taking my time to defeat each and every single boss that I can find, mainly just exploring the game. There's so much going on that it's actually breathtaking. Like, anything that you do in this game can basically be right. My next target is this like super cool tower that I just found, and I'm gonna go spelunk the hell out of it. And guess what? I'm probably gonna die. But that's okay. I have something to work on and something to grind on, so it'll all work out. If you are interested in watching my playthrough, you can click this playlist here to see my whole journey. Otherwise, stay caffeinated, folks.